I'm Gene Farr. I live on in Port Townsend on McMinn Road. And as I've been up here before, I've pointed out to you guys that there's lots of excellent peer-reviewed science from top scientists in their fields that totally counters what you're getting out of the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. I also pointed out that there's good solid evidence out there, not only in the science, but also in data from our government agencies like NOAA and what have you, that says there's nothing dastardly about the climate we're experiencing. And that the fact that the climate, although getting a little warmer, the number and frequency of dastardly weathered events, severe weather events, has gone down. So there's nothing here that we need to be worried about. So the precautionary principle doesn't apply. Now, how have we been so badly misled? Well, for your assigned reading, I requested you read this book. And I'm going to summarize some of the key findings of this book for you. This is an excellent book that talks about the UN panel on climate change and how it's nothing more than a political organization. It's not a scientific organization. The gal who wrote this book has no axe to grind. She's not associated with any political party. She is not associated with any corporation or anything. She's just an investigative journalist who was kind of curious and also suspicious about all of the climate change pronouncements. And so she did an in-depth review of how this UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change works. And she found that the lead authors were not the noted scientists that we've been led to believe, but they were graduate students. They were activists and members and lobbyists for radical environmental groups, or scientists that had an axe to grind. These were the lead authors. They weren't the lead people in their fields. Okay, they had conflicts of interest because some of them had articles they'd written that ended up being in the references and the findings. And they talk about they use nothing but peer-reviewed science. That's absolutely false. She found that 30% of the articles overall that were referenced as peer-reviewed science came from all sorts of magazines and other sources that weren't even scientific journals or anything like that at all. She also found that the chairman of the panel specifically stated that he doesn't work to try to pull all the science together for the benefit of all of us out here that are trying to make sense out of how we should respond to climate change. He works for the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, the people that are promoting the Kyoto Treaty. In other words, he's the propaganda machine for this treaty organization that wants to take over the world. So,
thank you very much, Mr. Farr.
Ignore the climate action plan.